What was the groundwork before getting into finance?
Okay, நாளைக்கு வந்து you have to submit your papers for fundraising. So please prepare the CMA. First CMA na என்னன்னு தெரியாது. அப்புறம் தான் prepare பண்ணு.
What are the risks generally coming for a finance company?
Corporate strategy. Corporate strategy is you have to have a production line. You must have, produce the product, export, market, network, and accordingly, I'll do the financial structuring for this.
So what advice would you give to young professionals aiming for a leadership role? Hello everyone and welcome to The Boys Fights. This show is all about diving deep into the minds of top business leaders and getting to know their strategies. But before that, let me introduce myself. I'm Agatha Christopher, the host for the show. As I said earlier, this is going to be a one-to-one interview session with our guests. And today, we have a very special person joining us today, Mr. B. Ramakrishnan, MD and CEO of Corporate Clinic. With no further delay, let's welcome our guest for the show, Mr. B. Ramakrishnan, popularly known as Mr. BRK, the CEO and MD of Corporate Clinic. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much for coming because I know you're very busy with a lot of things, but you still made up here. Thank you so much, sir.
My
so
pleasure.
Can we go with the questions?
Sure.
Okay. You've taken finance as your stream. What made you to choose that particular stream? Because you could have taken marketing, HR. There are so many other streams, but you've particularly chose this thing. Why?
Okay, fundamentally, accounting and commerce was my background in my 12th. Okay, I chose that primarily because I was very passionate of learning accounting. Okay, so I was aspiring to become an accountant.
Okay.
So therefore, I chose the stream of arts in my plus 2 education. After that, I got my BCom seat from Vivekananda College. And then from there, I was little struggling as to what should I choose, because my uncle was an MBA from IIM Calcutta. And I was aspiring to become a cost accountant, so I have to choose between these two. But those days, you couldn't do your chartered accountancy, like doing a foundation. You must be a graduate. So therefore, what we did was we joined the graduation, did foundation exams, entrance examinations, got passed, and then I finished my CAA before my BCom complete. Okay, I finished my inter. Now, then the choice was whether I continue as an accountant or I do as a finance person. So my uncle said it's always better to be a finance person rather than accounting, because accounting always has a restriction. Okay, so your job is restricted to accounting, postmortem of what you have done. But then I thought, I must be aspiring for finance, because based on the accounts, you do fundraising.
Yes.
Okay, you show innovation products. I think that strategy helped me a lot. Primarily because today I'm a financial strategist. Okay, so financial strategy means you understand the company's operations, okay, and then structure the financial products properly. But that's financial strategy.
Okay.
So that is something which helped me, in my growth in my career as also as a finance professional.
Okay, so what did you do groundwork? What was the groundwork before getting into finance?
Groundwork is not much, because finance has a BCom, BCom background is fine. So that's fine. But then while I was doing my evening college BCom, okay, the same uncle, I was working for him during the daytime. Okay, so our college was between 5:45 and 8:15. So those days, the evening colleges. So during daytime, I was little free. My uncle said, "Why are you wasting time? You come over and do." So he wanted a free resource. So I said, "It's a training for you." I said, "Free resource, fine." So I'll go there. So started marketing some of his electronic components. Okay. Didn't do much, but then I learned how a strategy is formulated. So then what happened was all the partners of my uncle were all from IIM. So I then understood that you must be somebody to matter for a company or wherever you go for a job. Then I said, okay, let me be a financial strategist rather than an accounting person. So, but accounting is important for finance decisions. So therefore, I said, okay, let's learn accounting. I've learned the accounting, basic accounting, but then let's go for finance. That's how I entered finance markets.
Okay, nice. Okay, sir. Can we go to the next question,
sure,
sir? Okay, so what advice would you give to young professionals aiming for a leadership role?
Okay, so initially, I think while they join a company, for example, post your management qualifications, so you join a company. So people say that, I must be eligible for this salary or that salary. Now, initially, I think a salary should not be in your mind. Initially, at least for a year or so. You must understand what finance is all about. For example, I'll tell you my own career. In fact, I joined Kothari's after my post-qualification. So there I had a great gift. My boss and his super boss. My boss was one Mr. Srinivasan, so who was again from IIM Calcutta. Okay, the history of IIM Calcutta. He was a very good guru. He was a very good teacher than a boss. Okay, so for example, first day of job. BRK நாளைக்கு வந்து you have to submit your papers for fundraising, so please prepare the CMA. First CMA na என்னன்னு தெரியாது, அப்புறம் தான் நான் ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணுறது. I hardly had 3 or 4 hours to prepare myself for a CMA. அப்போ இந்த கூகுள் பார்த்தா CMA என்னன்னு தெரியும், அது தெரியாது. என்ன பண்ணேன்னா அப்போ லோட்டஸ் 123 ஒரு ப்ரோக்ராம், நாட் யுவர் எக்ஸலன்ட் வேர்ட்லாம் கிடையாது, லோட்டஸ் 123 இருக்கும், வேர்ட் ஸ்டார்னு ஒரு ப்ரோக்ராம். ஸோ லோட்டஸ் 123 will have the same spreadsheets. So he opened the spreadsheet for me. He said, you start filling in all this, then I'll teach you. So I started filling in. அவர் என்ன பண்ணேன்னா, the strategy was that ஒரு ஸ்விம்மிங் கற்றுக்குறோம். ஓகே, இந்த ட்ரெயினர் வந்து தூக்கி போட்டுற தண்ணியில் ஸ்விம் பண்ணேன். ஓகே, பட் he holds the rope. I shouldn't drown. இந்த ப்ராசஸ் என்ன ஆகும், கம்பெனியை ட்ரெயின் பண்ணுறேன். ஸோ அதனால வந்து he was ensuring that I am always swimming, I am being afloat. So similarly, இந்த CMA ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ண ஆரம்பித்தேன். That's my first fundraising activity I did for the company. அங்கே தான் ஆரம்பிச்சு, no looking back. So I had a boss like that, and my big boss was the person who I always have a great reverence. அவர் இல்லாமல் நான் இந்த மாதிரி இருக்க முடியாது. இன்றைக்கி நான் ஷாம் புத்தாரி, அம்பானி son-in-law. So he something told him, I don't know what, something told him that I will be a good material for the company. So therefore he ensured that Srinivasan trains me properly in the financial this one, and I had very good promotions every year.
Yeah. Okay, sir. One quality that you require, like for a fresher, what do you think is needed?
Skills. Nothing else but skills.
What skills?
Okay,
can
financial
you name
skills.
it?
Yeah,
okay.
Financial skills. So ஒன்று வந்து financial skills ஏன் சொல்கிறேன் அப்படின்னா, without financial skills you cannot enter the job market today. So இன்னைக்கு யாருக்குமே nobody has time to train professionals. So if you are an MBA, the mindset is yes, you can enter and start plugging in. Okay, but today when you go to the office and go for an interview, a balance sheet is shown to you, you find very difficult to read numbers. Primarily because it requires a different skill set altogether. Okay, so on the skill set develop padikkanum. Okay, there are a lot of academies who train these skill sets. One of which is also run by me as BRK Soft. Yeah. So we also run it, run in partnership with Government of India. So in a full purely skills are also nothing else but skills. Where the only book I prescribe is the annual report of a company. Okay. So from there we start. We make them analyze the numbers, analyze strength and weakness, raise debt products, raise equity products, valuations, merger acquisitions, then rating. So in the end of the month program, I'll make you a full-fledged finance person. Okay, but without this foundation not possible. Without this foundation of basic degree, okay, I can't do anything about it. Okay, so you must have a prerequisite knowledge, so which the college is giving you.
Yes.
Okay, from there I take it on. So I become a bridge between your placement and your class.
Yes. Got it, sir. Yeah. Sir, because I come from a non-finance background, but I am like passionate about finance. So, but I find it very difficult to get into that stream because when somebody asks me why finance, I don't have a proper answer because I don't have that much knowledge about it. So, what do I do, sir?
Okay. Now, finance is a very, very interesting subject. What is finance? If you ask me to define, it's purely commercial mathematics. Okay. So, I think commercial maths everybody knows. It's not difficult. You buy a product for 8 rupees and sell it for 10 rupees, you make a profit of 2 rupees. So, everybody knows this number. That's all. Finance is only this. But there are structured products, the way to learn all this. So how to financially structure a company. Now all these are little amount of techniques which we teach. So what happens is in our academy, okay, you'll be surprised that most of them are engineers and doctors. Most of them are doctors also. They have no scent of maths also. In fact, these engineers can math strength on the smell on. But doctors do not have a strength of the smell of maths at all. Another finance kadupanga. But I took it as a challenge. So I've trained few doctors in the city today. So they run their own numbers, they prepare their own financials. Okay, they know how to prepare their own P&L balance sheets. So first 3 hours for these people, non-finance, okay, like non-BCom or engineers or doctors, okay. So what we do is we first teach them of what accounting is. Accounting na what I will not teach them debit credit, your personal account, nominal account, okay, that's not important for a finance person. What is important for a finance person is, what is this P&L and what is this balance sheet? That's all. Okay. So I'll teach them how to prepare a P&L, how to prepare a balance sheet without this basic knowledge. Okay. So simple எப்படி சொல்றேன் அப்படின்னா, I take a passbook of their a company or whatever it is, okay, or their own or their parents. So I'll ask them to read out their income, their salaries, and then all their expenses. Okay. I'll tell them how to prepare a P&L. So what profit your father has made for that month, example. Okay. And then from there I migrate to balance sheet. Okay. And slowly I increase the doses. In 2-3 hours, they will become an expert in such a manner that they will know how to prepare their own P&L balance sheets without accounting knowledge. Okay. And from there, I increase the dose of financial skills. Okay. It's very easy. Actually, more than me talking, it's more an experience to learn such products.
Okay, so can you move to the next question?
Please.
So, what has been the difficult decision that you ever taken as a CEO?
Okay, as a CEO is the growth. Okay. I was in a crowded market. For example, I promoted corporate clinics with my first company. When I quit my job in 97-98 in Qatar, I grew ranks. I became head of finance. And the hard decision I had to take was to quit, not knowing what to do. Okay. Then I promoted corporate clinic. In that, I was restructuring companies, turning around companies. That was my strategy, financial strategies. And then subsequently, one of my friends said, "You are good at art of fundraising. So why are you not in that market?" But I thought it was a crowded market because a lot of chartered accountants are there, a lot of consultants are there, advisors are there for the company who do fundraising. But he was saying something very glaring for me to enter that space, which is a huge vacuum. He said, structuring and financial re-engineering is something very, very new to this area, which you are an expert. Okay. So he said, I thought, why don't I look at re-engineering? So what does re-engineering mean?
Basically restructuring the whole thing?
That's restructuring. So re-engineering means, let's assume that those days, the power cost, for example, the government was 2 rupees and 25 paise when you put a plant in the early 90s. Today it's almost 3 times or 4 times the cost. Okay. But your product is the same, price is the same. So how to make profits? It becomes a problem. So then companies re-engineered their process. They said, okay, now power is costly. Then why don't I recover steam and use it for energy instead of power? So the power consumption comes down. Something like that. Some strategy. So it's re-engineering. So what do you do in finance for re-engineering? So what we do is, let's assume a company is already running into, say, auto components. Okay. So they are presently in domestic markets. Okay. Suddenly they want to migrate into export markets. Okay. But their cost of funds will be 16-12% or 13%. Okay. But they can't compete even if their cost is 12-13. So they have to commit to 2-3%. So then you structure an ECB product instead of their vanilla debt. Okay. Those products are available at 2-3%. So you must have knowledge of those products to structure this. So there was a huge space in the market. So I entered that market. That was a difficult decision to make because to make it this known to corporates, it was a difficult strategy. Okay, it's only word of mouth we did, and I am comfortable with that.
So you are very strong in finance, and you say your company is doing a lot of fundraising things. So if I come from a health sector, how do you analyze and give them investments, sir? How do you know that the business is going to work out or not? How would you
Okay, health sector, let's put it pharma industry, for example. Okay. Now in pharma industry, there are 2 things there. One is called NDDS. NDDS is where you find a new drug. Okay. So you get a FDA approvals or Indian FDA approvals. Now once you get an approval, the question is, do I have enough salary or money to invest in my company for growth? For example, you find a molecule. And the molecules after 20 to 40 years, you keep taking this medicine for 20 long years. There'll be no chance of brain tumor, for example, in the entire life. In the drug, see the amount of markets you're going to operate, the demand for the product. Okay. So therefore, to capitalize this, you need a lot of money to infuse for marketing networking. To create a network, you need huge monies. How do you raise this? So then I strategize on a venture fund.
Okay.
Tell them how to raise a venture capital. How do you value a company? So how do you value your molecule? Based on your corporate strategy. Corporate strategy is you have to have a production line. You must have, produce the product, export, market, network, and accordingly, I'll do the financial structuring for this.
Okay.
It's a big art.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
Sir, one complex strategy that you tried and that has become successful, what would it be?
Okay, more into education space. One was I started off with my education with Asbiak Academy, okay, a sole proprietor company where I was only handling the classes. Then I was fortunate enough I got a daughter to adopt, and then I trained her. My wife also got trained, and then we formulated as a company as BRK Soft. Earlier it was MSME, now it's NSDC. Government Affairs come forward. That's because of the products and the syllabus we brought in. Okay, the big risk I'm taking is in this whole thing is nobody is there in the space. The entire space, even now, I have no competitors. But I'm sure that all the finance professionals try to copy this and do the same syllabus, because it's very, very high-end syllabus as also a full-fledged finance professional syllabus. So, but I think that's a decision I've taken, that I'm taking a very big risk in terms of announcing a syllabus in the market. But I don't mind, as long as India is filled with finance professionals, I'm very proud about it.
Okay, so can we move to the next question,
Sure.
sir? Taking risks. So being in the finance thing, taking risk is one of the toughest jobs. So how did you take the courage to just invest in companies, go for it? How do you do that, sir?
It's purely strategies. Primarily, each of the investments which I make in various companies or the decision I take up a syndication process. So I should ensure that banks are comfortable with or the investor is very comfortable with the investment he's making or the exposure he's taking. So for that, I must ensure that it becomes a risk-free or mitigatable risk ventures. So therefore, my strategy will be first formulate a corporate strategy and then advise the company to enter the financial market, so that the risks are minimized.
Sir, risks, like what are the risks are generally coming for a finance company? General risks.
Finance company or finance?
Finance stream or finance company?
See, a market is very dynamic. There are a lot number of products in the market. Okay. Now you must have, I think, corporates or even banks must have a knowledgeable person in terms of finance. Okay. Now a guy, for example, today's market, if you take, not many of them know a product called ECB. Okay, it's for exporters. You know, a lot of export companies who come to me for funding, they learn about this and then come to me and say, "Sir, can you do fundraising for us as ECB?" I'll tell them, you have your own stream of people, professionals, but they lack these skills. See, not that everybody should know everything, okay, but there are certain plus and minuses of each of the individuals. But I think today's finance market, for example, okay, I'll tell you this. You take companies like Reliance, you take companies like Tata's or Birla's, how are they successful? It's one production, fine, that's all fine, but more importantly, the treasury is very, very important for them. Okay, every number counts because they are running into crores. Even 1% on a huge, say, 1,000 crore is 10 crores for a company. It's not a small sum. So the finance guys must be extremely sharp on products. If you save a company's interest from, say, existing 10% to bring it down to, say, 3%, what is 7% on 50 crores, for example? It's a huge number.
Yes.
So the knowledge is a must in finance industry, and that too very, very dynamic finance. It keeps on changing every day. The world keeps on changing in finance. That becomes very important.
Okay. Sir, how was your company adapting to economic uncertainty and regulatory changes?
Yes, primarily ours is more into consulting, so not much I can talk about, but every company which I am advising, okay, so have varied businesses. So today, for example, food processing, in the budget, the announcement has been very good for food processing industry. So the strategy for food processing company could be that, announce yourself as MSME, and they have increased MSME limits to 2.5 times more than the present limits. So that could be a strategy to cover anti-dumping duty from US. There are a lot of other strategies which I keep advocating based on the budgets, based on the economic factors.
So one final question. So if I am a fresher, so if I want to come and join your company, what do you expect from me?
Join a company as an employee?
Yes.
Financial skills.
Okay, so I want to know what is that I need?
You must be thorough on finance. I'll give you a situation of a company, of a client of mine. You must be able to structure a product for me. That's the knowledge you must have it for me. You must deliver for me. At least that knowledge you must have. Maybe you may not know how to implement it, but definitely at least that knowledge you must have.
Where do I start from, sir? Where do I start my knowledge from? Like, how do I start my groundwork for that?
That's me.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your time, sir, because being a first very episode, we had you and I'm very happy and grateful for this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thanks for Epd-3 Engineering College for giving this opportunity, particularly Sai Kumari ma'am, who has been a guiding force for all of you and me too on education industry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have come to the end of this episode, and if you guys are willing to watch more of these talks, you've got to wait. Until then, this is Agatha Festival signing off from the show. Thank you.